All right, so now, so basically, when we talk about pie chart, yes, pie chart, very good. Okay, so when we talk about pie chart, it is always about one whole, right? So instead of using whole numbers, okay, instead of using whole numbers, we can also use what are the forms that will you get information from the pie chart. These are just collection of data, right? And these collections of data can be in the form of, instead, besides whole numbers, what else can they give you in your pie chart? Besides whole numbers, very good. Yes, percentage. They can use percentage, and take note, when we talk about percentage, it must be total, regardless of the number of items. It must add up to give you 100%. So, okay, so pronounce say angles. Okay, so it can be in the form of angles. So regardless of the number of items, the total degree representing each of the item must add up to give you how much or how many. How many degrees? 360. Thank you. Okay. Now, so if you have a circle, pie chart is always a pie lah. It's a circle. So we have things like this, whereby if they tell you half, of course, you know it's 180 degrees, and they cut this and they tell you like that. What is this? What is the degree given here? 90 degrees, okay. You can also represent this in terms of 25%. You can also put it as a fraction, which is 1/4. All right. Now, if let's say they gave you, okay, let me give you an example. Let's say this is 52 degrees. Now, if I were to represent this part in terms of a fraction, how do I do it? How do I put it? This part here, okay, I want to represent it as a fraction. How do I do it? I want to represent this part as a fraction. How can I do it? Anyone? What do I do? And I only know that the degree or the angle that represents this part is 52 degrees. So how can I represent this in the form of an angle? What do I do? This part in terms of a fraction, what do I get? What? Okay, I want to represent, let's say, for example, this part represents books. Okay, so books, magazines, book, magazines, comic, and maybe newspaper. I don't know whether there are still newspaper out there, but newspaper, okay? So if I were to represent, what fraction of total represents the number of books? How would I do it? What fraction of total represents the number of books? Okay, so Hannah got it. Hannah says 52 over 360. Do I need to simplify this? Do I need to simplify this? Can I simplify this? Yes, how do I simplify this? To give me 13 over 90. Okay, so that's in the form of fraction. All right. So you can represent the data given to you in a pie chart, can be in the form of percentage, angles, and fractions. Sometimes you can also get decimals. Okay, it is possible to get decimal as well as in the form of ratio. Okay, so I guess most of you are already in. All right, so okay, so a lot of you didn't manage to complete the work. Okay, so I am going to go through the questions. Okay, so if you look at the pie chart here, so the pie chart shows how Patrick spent the money his uncle gave him. What fraction? Okay, so it is in the form of fraction of the money. So that means fraction of total. Okay, so this is what you want. Did he spend on food? So this is the fraction that you want. What fraction of total money that he has did he spend on food? So here, what is the total money? Okay, this is easy. Okay, Brian say easy. Okay, what's the total money, Brian? To give me. Thank you, 32. Pranati and Brian. Then, so fraction of food. Which one is food? This is food. Stationery. And transport. Okay, food, stationery, and transport. So, yes. So, okay, thank you, Brian and Hannah. So, we have food is $10. Total 32. Simplify. Now, even if they didn't tell you that you need to simplify, you must simplify, okay? So, divide by 2 to give you 5 over, okay, 5 over 16. Yes. Okay, so it's 5 over 16. So, this will be your answer, 5 over 16. Okay, now, next question. So, a group of 800 students. So now they tell you that there are 800 students. So this is a very important information. So now, when you have, I think very rarely would you have colors, but in this exercise, the pie chart has beautifully been done to give you colors. Okay, I'm not sure why my iPad is writing so slowly. Okay, so gymnastics. So write down what you have if it's too small. So basketball, swimming, and rugby. So this is your rugby. Okay, so from here. Okay, Brian. Okay, now, so there are 800 students. The pie chart shows the choices and the number of students who chose each of the sports. So which sport was chosen by 5% of the students? So you have total 800. Okay, so they tell you it's 800. 5% of the students chose a sport. So how do I work this out? How do I find that number of students? How do I find that number of students? Anyone? How do I find the number of students? Yes, thank you, Hannah. So the number of students is, this is 5% means over 100 times the number of students here, you will get 40. So 40 students would be rugby. Okay, so for 5% of the students chose rugby. Okay, now question 3. What do we have here? So this is now in fractions. So if they are in fractions, what does that mean? That means the total must add up to give you common denominator. Yes. So what is the common denominator of 10, 3, and 15? Because they must add up to give you one whole. Okay, so the common denominator of 3, 10, and 15 is 30. So that's 9 over 30. Right, so that's 9 over 30. Then you have 10 over 30, 4 over 30. And the last one would be the food, 1 whole minus 9, 10, and 4 to give you 9, 10, and 4 to give you 7 over 30. Okay, 7 over 30. So that means what is the ratio of the amount of money Ellie spent on the presents to the amount she spent on food? So presents would be, so since the total is 30, so you have this. Okay, hang on. So you have the fractions to be, total is 30, presents 4, and food would be 7. Okay, all right, got that? Okay, now 4 over 7. Okay. Can I go on to question number 4? Okay, so question number 4. In a class, each girl chose one animal for their class batch. The pie chart shows their choices. What fraction? So we want a fraction. What fraction of the class? So fraction of the class, so my denominator will be the total number of students in the class who chose black bear. Okay, so Hannah got the answer. The rest of you who didn't try, can you try it now? Those of you who didn't attempt, there's quite a number of you who didn't attempt. Brian got it. Okay. Now, so first I need to do will be, because it gives me in percentage, whereas the rest are in fractions, right? Okay. So since the rest are in fractions, so that means, yes, Sharon, that's right. So I'm going to change this to fraction. What do I get? What's the fraction here? 1 over 40. Yes, your answer is correct. Brian, thank you. So this is 1 over 4. So Niall got it. Sharon got it, Brian, and Hannah got it as well. Okay. So all you need to do is, you can straight away just subtract 1 minus 1/4, half, 1/10, and 1/8. This should give you a total of 1 over 40. Okay. So that's 1 over 40. All right, so that's 1 over 40. Okay, got that? Okay, now, question number 5. So if you look at number 5, now, question, what's the meaning of retailer? Anyone? So retailer? Do you know what's a retailer? In other words, stitching clothes? No, retail. No. Stitching clothes. No. Retailer means like a shop, like popular, yes, like popular bookstore. Okay. So stationery, yes, like popular. So these are retail, they are retail outlets. All right. So the popular bookstore is known as a retailer. Okay, so the pie chart represents the number of stationery sold by a retailer. An equal number of pencils and pens were sold. So this is your pencils and pens. Okay, so pencils and pens. So you have your staplers, which is 29%. And you have the notebooks to be 35%. Okay, so from here, Yes.